All right, Shalom. First, foremost, want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim Rakakwadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone that taught me this truth. And shout out to the hopeful elect, the Akim and the Agwaf that have returned to the obedience of the scriptures. And I'll go ahead and entitle this video the U.S. Military Recruitment Crisis. All right, the U.S. Military Recruitment Crisis. All right. And basically what inspired this was a video that I came across, in the news. We're gonna go through the video and because there are some good points um in regards to basically the difficulty that the American, military is having, all right, in regards to, getting more people to sign up, right, to join. Um, and there's just a lot of good points made in the video. A lot of prophecy that it made me think about because basically, um, we know that according to the scriptures, okay, Babylon the Great is going to be invaded. All right, there will be, foreign troops um, on the ground, right, in the United States of America. Okay, on um, American soil. Okay, that's why the scriptures talk about, you know, um, the virgin daughter of Babylon, right? Matter of fact, we'll start there. Let me get that real quick. Right, because for the most part, in our lives, especially, but even going back um, to, I want to say, the Civil War, right? The Civil War was essentially the only time when there was an actual hot war, okay, here on the soils of the United States. Now, you know, our enemy, Esau, right? Esau E, he's been making war on you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, all right, going all the way back to, the womb, pursuing to Genesis 25, right? And he's, still waging war on us as a people. So that never stopped. But as far as, you know, geopolitics, as far as America is concerned as an entire nation, okay, no other nation to this point has, invaded Babylon the Great, has actually got troops down on the ground here in Babylon the Great, okay? And that's about to change. And a matter of fact, there already are foreign troops here, okay? And we'll get some precepts to prove that, but there already are foreign troops here, all right? They just haven't been activated, they haven't been made manifest. All right. And that's part of the reason why we're having this immigration crisis, this border crisis. All right. That plays into it. You know, going a few years back, you had the shipping container crisis where there were, thousands upon thousands of shipping containers sitting at ports all around America. Right. You had clips coming out a couple years, the last few years about videos coming out of Canada talking about how there were Chinese, military in Canada. So really, if you have ears to hear and eyes to see, the Lord has already given us signs that the foreign troops are already here. Okay, so this is Isaiah 47:1. It says, come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon, sit on the ground." All right, and sitting in the dust, right, represents, being at a low estate, but also being confused, being confused. All right. And that's what these people are. These people are about to be very, very, very confused when the reality hits them that America is not so tough. All right. America is not what it, claims to be. And Yahweh Shai Shai is getting ready to make an example out of this place, and he's gonna do that through um, death and destruction. All right, Isaiah 47:1, it says, "Come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon, sit on the ground." Right, and it says virgin daughter of Babylon because Babylon, America, has never been penetrated. It has never been invaded by another nation. Okay, it says, "There is no throne, O daughter of the Chaldeans, for thou shalt no more be called tender and delicate." Say, so after this is done, right? America is not going to be, untouched. America is going to get touched, all right, and it's not going to be considered a virgin anymore. It's going to be invaded, all right, and people are going to be getting laid down in the streets, all right, and we're going to get that too because that's in Isaiah the 13th chapter, all right. But it's getting to the point now, as we can see, in what's going on over there in the Middle East, right? You got Hezbollah, Hamas, the Houthis, all right, North Korea, Iran. You got these entities, these nations around the planet Earth, basically, saying, not no longer, cowering uh, under the, you know, so-called, military might of America. They don't give a damn anymore. All right, and that sentiment is only going to pick up. Um, but let me get this. This is Joel chapter 3, verse 9. It says, "Proclaim ye this among the Gentiles, prepare war, wake up the mighty men, let all the men of war draw near, let them come up. All right, beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say, I am strong." Right, and that's the point. Let the weak say, I am strong. Right, and the weak are saying that. Right, these other nations that traditionally, you know, don't play with America. Um, they're starting to say that they're strong. They're starting to make threats. They're starting to do particular things. Flex their muscle, if you will. All right, in the sight of on the world stage, because really these other nations are starting to see the chink in America's armor. Right, they're starting to see the cracks in America's armor, their defense. All right, and ultimately we know the Lord is going to put the spirit on Russia, right, Gog and Magog, to ultimately hit that button and unleash the thermonuclear, onslaught onto this place. That's the final, you know, judgment, the lake of fire. All right, which is thermonuclear destruction. Okay, but this U.S. military crisis plays a role in all this, and we're going to get into that. Um, so without further ado, I'm going to play this video, and I'm going to pause here and there and bring out some precepts. Lord's willing, is edifying.
2023 amid recruiting woes, active duty end strength to drop again in 2024. And it says the smallest U.S. military force in more than 80 years is about to get even smaller. And why is it getting smaller? Is this planned? Is this deliberate? No, this is a result of failing to meet recruitment quotas. Here is another article trying to explore why the U.S. is struggling to recruit new soldiers, sailors, airmen, Marines. From the Hill, ideology, not lack of funds, is behind our military's recruiting crisis. Well, it certainly is not a lack of funds. I also don't think that it's ideology. This is an op-ed, and if you go through this, they talk about woke gender theory, politicized vaccine mandates, critical race theory, and they talk about radical politics, and I don't think that that is helping U.S. military. But there is something much deeper at work here that the Western media simply doesn't want to talk about, but it touches upon it in articles like this from Politico. Americans' confidence in the U.S. military lowest in 2 decades. Poll finds only 60% of Americans express a great deal or quite a lot of confidence in the military. This is going down, even though the military is still one of the most trusted institutions in the United States, but public trust is dwindling. Why is that? Is it because of radical politics? No. It's because more and more Americans and more people around the globe are starting to understand that the US military doesn't exist to defend the United States. It's there to advance the political, geopolitical objectives of a very small percentage of special interests running the US and driving US foreign and domestic policy. That is what the US military is. This is nothing new. If you read Smedley Butler's Wars of Rackets from right before World War II, you would have seen that this was realized by some people many decades ago. The problem has only gotten worse, but more and more people are becoming aware of it. Hence, a lack of trust and increasing difficulties recruiting people into the U.S. military.
Right. And everything that he just mentioned is ultimately biblical prophecy. The scriptures talk about a shameful spewing, okay, being upon the glory, of Esau in America, right? Because Esau is um he runs America, right? He's the king of Babylon, all right, the modern day Pharaoh. All right. And people are starting to realize that America is a lie. All right. The American dream is a lie. Um, and the military is nothing more than, really, the muscle of criminals, right? The powers to be are nothing more than a criminal organization, all right, running around the planet Earth, waging war on everybody, waging war on people, stealing their land, stealing their resources. And a matter of fact, I'm gonna get this in Habakkuk 2. All right, this is Habakkuk chapter 2 and verse um 4. It says, "Behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him, but the just shall live by his faith. Yea, also because he transgresses by wine," which represent his ideologies and philosophies, right? That woke culture that guy was speaking about. That's that wine. All right. That do as thou wilt, doctrine, lawlessness, sexual immorality. All right, the confusion of you know, what it is to be a man and what it is to be a woman. All right, all these, things that are really at the forefront right now. Those things are eating away at the fabric of the US military. So it's all backfiring. It says, "Yea, also because he transgresses by wine, he is a proud man, neither keepeth at home, who enlargeth his desire as hell and is as death, and cannot be satisfied. And but gathereth unto him all nations and heapeth unto him all people." Right, and that's what he's been doing. He's been conquering um, the planet Earth, you know, through war, all right, or through deception, you know, war and deception, the sword, which is his blessing. Okay, so let me jump down to verse 16. All right, it says, "Thou art filled with shame for glory. Drink thou also, and let thy foreskin be uncovered. The cup of the Lord's right hand shall be turned unto thee. Shameful spewing shall be on thy glory." All right. And that shameful spewing is what we're seeing take place. All right. Basically, it's starting to, it's being brought to the forefront just how corrupt and how wicked, okay, America truly is. All right. The corporation that we know as America, because that's all this country is. All this country is a corporation, it's a company, you know. So let's go back. Let's go back.
Although there are other problems too, such as looking at the newest generation of potential military recruits. These are people who are physically unfit. They're mentally ill in greater and greater numbers. They are addicted to different type of drugs that make them ineligible for military service. They simply do not have the mindset or the physical fitness to serve in the military and perform the tasks necessary in a modern military. I wrote an article recently for China's Global Times about this topic. It was published on the Global Times' application and was also republished here by this Chinese military website. And the title is America's Military Recruitment Crisis, Symptoms of an Overreaching Empire. And I'm going to read this article. I'm going to show you the sources that I cite, and I may throw in some additional information as we go along. So the article begins by saying the United States benefits from a multitude of factors in terms of national security. It is a large nation, both in terms of geography and population. It is the third largest population on Earth, as a matter of fact. Its geography also places two vast oceans between it and any potential adversary or competitor. There does not exist today a nation with the ability or desire to cross either of these oceans and attack the U.S. homeland. Considering this, the U.S. should, or at least could, enjoy enduring peace spanning decades, if not generations. However, because of Washington and the special interests on Wall Street actually driving U.S. foreign policy, the U.S. has been at almost perpetual war from the end of World War II until today, not in defense of America's homeland, but in pursuit of America's influence and interests abroad, both euphemisms for modern-day empire. And if you read U.S. Marine Corps General Smedley Butler's War is a Racket, again, published just ahead of World War II, he talked about how most of the wars leading up to World War II were also wars of opportunity, wars of choice, not being fought in defense of the United States, but in pursuit of special interests and their exploitation of people and resources beyond their own borders.
Yeah, and we literally that's that's what Habakkuk 2 is breaking down. All right, Habakkuk 2 is detailing the never-ending, conquest that Esau Edom has, of the planet Earth, right? Because ultimately he wants to establish his bootleg, his pseudo kingdom of heaven. All right, and that's another reason why we know the C hip, the implantable, chocolate chip. That's what Revelation 13-16. That's the not the icing on the cake. That's his primary objective, because once he can get that established, all right, he will have checkmated, all the nations of the earth, basically. All right, but we know that his ambition, his grand plans are what is gonna lead to his ultimate demise. That's documented, all right, in the scriptures. Okay. Let me keep playing this real quick.
Like all empires before it, the U.S. finds itself facing a dilemma. It either continues expanding to maintain and grow its wealth and power globally, or this international wealth and power will crumble. Like empires all throughout history, the necessity to fill the ranks of its military, one of the primary tools used to secure and expand U.S. wealth and power worldwide, is paramount. And like all other empires throughout history, the U.S. has found itself growing increasingly desperate to do so. In recent years, America has faced a growing recruitment crisis in which various services of the United States' armed forces are unable to meet recruitment quotas and, as a result, are diminishing in both quantity and quality. The U.S. Army, for example, has shrunk by over 30,000 personnel from 2021 because of its inability to meet recruitment quotas. US media has begun discussing this problem, admitting that the US armed forces are missing quotas for a variety of reasons, including a growing percentage of the American population unable to meet health and fitness requirements, or because of drug addiction, criminal records, I forgot about that one, and mental health issues, or a general disinterest or even distrust of the US armed forces following decades of wars predicated on dubious pretexts. That last point right there is one the Western media is trying to avoid discussing. So they will talk about everything else, and they will leave out the fact that the U.S. has not fought a justified war in decades. People joining the military today, in recent history, they cannot see an example of a war the U.S. has fought that was actually justifiable.
Right. So they know that America is wicked. They know that America is rotten to the core, and that's how we know that the scriptures. This was all documented in the scriptures. Okay, this is all the will of the Lord. At the end of the day, you know. So this is I want to read this real quick because it goes into what he's saying. Jeremiah 51, and I'll start at verse 28. It says, "Prepare against her with the kings of the Medes, the captains thereof, all the rulers thereof, and all the land of his dominion." All right, and as we can see, okay, the Lord is raising up, okay, Russia. All right, but the Lord is also raising up, Iran. Okay, the Persians. All right, and those two entities, along with the other nations that join under them, you know, they're they getting ready to get busy, man. All right, this is Jeremiah 51:29. It says, "And the land shall tremble and sorrow, for every purpose of the Lord shall be performed against Babylon, to make the land of Babylon a desolation without an inhabitant." Right, and when it says every purpose of the Lord shall be performed against Babylon, that's going into the plagues, right? Because America is going to be destroyed by thermonuclear destruction, but before that, America is going to be plagued. All right, America is going to be plagued in a very similar fashion that ancient Egypt was plagued. All right, it's going to be a systematic breakdown of America. All right, and that's why we are preparing through the Spirit. That's why we've been preparing, right? Talking about spiritual prepping, all right, not physical prepping, right? Because we already know, ain't nothing wrong with prepping. You can put a few things here away here and there, but at the end of the day, the only thing that's going to get you through all of this is um the spirit, right? The spirit of Yahweh Shem Shai, all right, and then the wisdom and knowledge, all right, understanding what's going on, understanding why the things are happening, why things that are happening are happening. Okay, that's what's going to get us through, and then ultimately we got delivered. Okay, ultimately, the Most High, Yahweh Shem Shai, He's going to have to intervene. He's going to have to make a way. Okay, divine intervention. All right, but this is the point in verse 30. It says, "The mighty men of Babylon have forborne to fight." It says, "They have remained in their strongholds. Their might hath failed. They became as women." Okay, so again, let me read that again. It says, "The mighty men," talking about it's military. "The mighty men of Babylon have forborne to fight." Forborne means to not fight, right? To duck off, to flee, to quit. All right, they have remained in their holds. Okay, and they're going to remain in their holds because most of the people in the military, especially the younger generation, they're just in it for the perks. All right, they're just in it because they need a way out of whatever situation that they were in. All right, they wanted the benefits, they wanted to pay. They didn't actually plan on having to actually fight, the Russians, all right, or fight Iranians, or fight, these various, military, paramilitary groups, that are coming in through the border. They didn't plan on having to fight those people. All right, and when it really comes down to it, a lot of them are going to dip out. You know, and that's why, again, America, the fate of America is sealed. Al Bashir Al Shah's got this place checkmated. Because even on a global scale, NATO, all right, NATO is a formidable force, obviously on paper. All right, obviously, America, NATO, they've spent the most money on war. Okay, they have some of the best missile technology. Money is what wins you a war. All right, spending trillions and trillions of dollars is not what no, what wins you a war. All right, and America's Americans are going to find that out the hard way. All right, let me go back, see if there's any more I want on this.
To fill these gaps, the U.S. has gradually reduced standards for entry into the U.S. military, as well as expanded the scope of who can join to include even those who are not even American citizens. So I joined the U.S. Marine Corps in the year 2000, right out of high school. I was 17 years old. I joined the U.S. military, and at that time, they were already allowing non-U.S. citizens to join. They were legal immigrants into the United States. Joining the military was a fast track toward citizenship. Now, as I'm going to discuss in this article, they're considering allowing illegal immigrants into the military, and their service would be in exchange for a fast track towards U.S. citizenship.
Yep, and that's really going to be a detriment because a lot of these illegal immigrants are compromised. A lot of these illegal immigrants are double agents. There's a lot of stuff going on. That the Most High is doing. You know, you could very well have military troops that were sent here, right across the border from these other nations. Insiders. You know, and that's again, man. I mean, let me read this. Let me get this, okay? I might close with this. All right, this is Isaiah chapter 13, and let me start. When you go into this chapter, it's going into the destruction of Babylon. All right, the destruction of Babylon the Great in these days. All right, I'm gonna start at verse 6, and then I'm gonna jump down. It says, "How ye, for the day of the Lord is at hand; it shall come as destruction from the Almighty. Therefore shall all hands be faint, and every man's heart shall melt." Okay, and that's gonna be the spirit that everybody's in that day. All right, it's gonna be absolute mayhem. All right, I'm gonna jump down to verse 11. It says, "And I will punish the world for their evil, and the wicked for their iniquity, and I will cause the arrogancy of the proud to cease, and will lay low the haughtiness of the terrible. I will make a man more precious than fine gold, even a man than the golden wedge of Ophir." Right? So the Lord is getting ready the great humbling is getting ready to take place. All right, the great humbling is getting ready to take place. And it's going to be especially humbling for these women. All right, and for anybody who has put their trust and their stock into this way of life, the image of the beast. All right, and in that time, all right, those who have the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, those that have the spirit of the Most High on them, the spirit of Yahweh Shem Shai, they're going to be the ones that are precious. They're going to be the ones that everybody is looking to find. All right, let me jump down to verse 14. It says, "And it shall be as a chaste roe, and as a sheep that no man taketh up. They shall every man turn to his own people, and flee every one into his own land." All right, and a chaste roe is basically like a deer or antelope. You know, like if you go on YouTube and type in a lion chasing an antelope and watch that video, Okay, that roe, that deer is running for his life. All right, it's in complete, flight mode. All right, and that's what it's going to be like when these foreign troops, um, get busy here in America. All right, people are going to be, it's going to be chaos. It's going to be mass chaos. All right, verse 15. This is the point because this is what we're getting ready to see. It says, "Everyone that is found shall be thrust through, and everyone that is joined unto them shall fall by the sword. Their children also shall be dashed to pieces before their eyes. Their houses shall be spoiled, and their wives ravished." All right. So again, these foreign troops, when they are given that command, all right, they just gonna be laying people down. All right, ain't gonna be no questions, ain't gonna be no negotiating. All right, people just gonna be getting laid down, man. All right, and this is what's coming to America. All right, but through the Spirit, we're gonna be covered. The elect is gonna be covered. All right, the elect is gonna be, a standard's gonna be lifted. Elect's gonna be given spiritual power. All right, or they're gonna be, in, a very, who knows, right? We don't know exactly how it's gonna play out, but we are confident that Yahweh Shemi Shai is gonna cover us and deliver us. All right, we have no doubt about that. You know, so just wanted to. I'll finish with this. We can finish with this. This is Luke 21:36, and it says, "Watch ye therefore and pray always, that ye may be accounted worthy to escape all these things that shall come to pass, and to stand before the Son of Man." Right? Because again, those that are accounted worthy, there are people that are going to escape all this, but it's only going to be those that are accounted worthy. The elect, the remnant. Right? They're going to escape all this Jacob's trouble. Right? All these things. You know. So we're to remain, in the spirit, remain, you know, in the truth, in Yahweh Shem Shai, and then, endure until the end. So Lord's willing, this is edifying with that. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Shem Shai, Bashem Kakodash. Shalom.